She was not the kind of woman you would expect to find in a love story. She was not the kind of woman people whispered about with admiration. They whispered yes, but not with admiration. They whispered with judgment, with pity, with the low hum of a town that had already decided who she was. Her name was Gomer, and if you know anything about her story, you might already be shaking your head. You might already be thinking, she wasted it. She threw away the greatest gift she was ever given. And maybe you would be right, but here is the thing about grace. It doesn't wait for you to deserve it. It doesn't stand at a distance with arms crossed and a disappointed expression. Grace moves. Grace pursues. Grace goes down into the marketplace and pays the price and says, "Come home." I have carried this story in my bones for a long time. The weight of it, the shame of it, the wonder of it, because I was the woman who left. I was the one who looked at love, real love, steady love, the kind that costs everything, and still walked away. I don't fully understand why. I have asked myself that question 10,000 times in the silence of long nights. And the answer is never simple. It is never clean. But this is my story, and I want to tell it to you, all of it, because I believe you may recognize something in it. Maybe you too have walked away from something good. Maybe you have followed something that glittered but turned to dust. Maybe you are sitting somewhere right now wondering if the road back is even real. It is real, I promise you, it is real. My name is Gomer, and I was loved back. If you believe in the power of this story to touch the heart and transform thoughts, sign up now. Together we can bring these teachings to those who haven't had the chance to hear them yet. I did not begin as a ruined woman. I want you to know that. And the worst version always starts in the middle, in the wreckage, as if the wreckage is the whole truth. It is not the whole truth. I began as a girl. Just a girl. I grew up in a place where the hills turned golden in the late afternoon light, and the smell of barley and wheat filled the air in the weeks of harvest. I can still close my eyes and remember the way the wind moved through those fields. Not the harsh desert wind that cuts and stings, but something softer, something that rustled through the stalks like a whisper. My mother used to say that the land itself was singing. I believed her then. Children believe so easily. My father was not a bad man. I want to be careful how I say this because there are things in the story of a woman's life that are easy to explain and things that resist explanation entirely. My father was not cruel. He did not strike us or curse the name of God in anger. He was simply ... distant, present in the room, but absent in the way that mattered. His eyes were always looking past us, past the walls of our house, out towards something I could never identify. As a girl, I thought he was watching for something to come. As a woman, I understand now that he was mourning something that had already gone. My mother was warm where he was cool. She would gather us close in the evenings and speak quietly of the God of Israel, of his faithfulness, of the covenant, of the stories passed down from one generation to the next, like bread broken at a table. She would hold my face in her hands sometimes and look at me with an expression I did not know how to name. I know the name now. It was grief. She saw something in me, I think, something restless, something that would not be satisfied with what was given and would reach, always reach for what was just beyond the horizon. I was not a wicked child. I was not calculating or cold. I was simply hungry in a way I could not explain. Hungry for beauty, for attention, for the feeling that I mattered to someone, that someone looked at me and saw something worth seeing. The town I grew up in was small enough that everyone knew everyone's name, and large enough that kindness was not always guaranteed. I learned early that a pretty face could open doors. I learned early that a smile in the right direction could earn you something: warmth, laughter, the feeling of being chosen. I loved that feeling. I did not understand then how dangerous a hunger like that could become when it is not held by something deeper. I did not understand that a hunger without roots will eat anything offered to it, whether it is good food or poison. I think now about that girl, me, at 12, at 14, and I feel something tender for her. She was so unguarded. She was so convinced that love was something you earned by being appealing, by performing, by making yourself irresistible to the people whose approval you craved. She had not yet learned that love, real love, is not a reward. It is a gift. But she would learn. Oh, she would learn. The seasons pass the way seasons do when you are young, slowly when you are living them, impossibly fast when you look back. I watched the older girls in town as they received their proposals, as the negotiations happened between fathers, and as the wedding processions wound through the narrow streets with singing and oil lamps. I wanted that. I wanted all of it. I wanted to be chosen. And then came the day that a man named Hosea came to our door. I had seen him before in the way you see everyone in a small town, at the market, at the gate, at the festivals. He was not the kind of man who demanded attention. He was quiet, thoughtful, with eyes that seemed to see past surfaces into something deeper. He was a prophet, they said, a man who spoke the words of the living God. I was not sure what to make of that. I was not sure what to make of him. He came to speak to my father, and when my father called me to stand before him, this quiet, serious man with his steady, unreadable gaze, something shifted in the air. He looked at me the way very few people had ever looked at me, not as something to be desired, not as something to be used or displayed. He looked at me as though I were someone worth knowing. I did not know what to do with that. I was not accustomed to it. What happened next would change everything. Not all at once. Not in the way of storms. In the way of rivers, slow and steady, wearing away stone by stone until the shape of the land is irrevocably altered. But I'm getting ahead of myself. For now, let me stay here a little longer, in the memory of barley fields, of my mother's hands, of the girl I used to be. She deserves to be remembered. Even the parts of her that were broken, even the parts that would, in time, break everything. I married Hosea on a morning when the air smelled of bread baking and late-season flowers. My mother braided oil into my hair and wept quietly the way mothers weep at weddings. Not from sorrow, exactly, but from the weight of knowing. She knew things about me that I was still discovering about myself. She held my face in her hands one last time that morning, and I saw it again, that grief-edged expression. And I said to her, "Don't cry, Mother. This is a good thing." She said, "Yes, my love. He's a very good man." I noticed she said nothing about me. The ceremony was simple. Hosea was not a man of great wealth or ceremony. He was a man of God, and what he offered me was not luxury or status. What he offered me was himself, his constancy, his faithfulness, his quiet, solid presence. I told myself that was enough. I almost believed it. The first weeks of marriage were filled with small discoveries. The way he woke before dawn and sat in the darkness, not sleeping but not speaking either, simply present, listening for something in the silence. I would lie in bed and watch his silhouette against the gray light and wonder what he heard there. He was tender with me. That surprised me. I had expected a prophet to be stern, all sharp words and warnings, but Hosea was gentle. He listened me questions and listened to my answers, truly listened, the way you listen when you want to understand, not just when you're waiting for your turn to speak. He asked me about my childhood, about what I loved, about what frightened me. I answered carefully. I gave him the safe versions of the truth. But even those he received with such care that I found myself occasionally telling him something real, something unguarded, something I had not planned to say. And he would look at me with those steady eyes and say, "Nothing critical, nothing corrective, just receive it the way the earth receives rain, quietly and without drama. I think that should have been enough to change me. I think, looking back, that he gave me more than most women ever receive in this life. But there is a particular kind of wound that does not heal from kindness alone. A wound that has been there so long, so deep, that kindness rolls off the surface of it like water off stone. My hunger had not been healed by marrying a good man. It had only been quieted for a season, and beneath the quiet, it was still there, still reaching, still waiting. We had children, 3 of them born in those early years. The naming of children is a sacred act. Hosea knew this as a prophet. He gave them names that carried meaning, heavy meaning, the kind that makes you pause when you speak them aloud. The names of our children were messages. Messages from God to the people of Israel, delivered through the bodies of my babies. I did not always understand them, but I felt the weight of them. And I felt increasingly the weight of being the wife of a prophet, of living inside a story larger than myself, a story in which I seemed to be a small and troubled character. Hosea's life was not his own. He belonged to God first and to me second, leaving only a thin shell behind for the people who love him. I know that sounds like a complaint. It is, and it isn't. Hosea never turned me away. He never treated me as an inconvenience. But there was a solemnity about him that I could never fully enter. A room in him that was always reserved for God. And the desperate, hungry, never satisfied part of me, the part that wanted to be someone's everything, could not rest in that. I began slowly to look elsewhere. Not in the way of a decision, not with intent, in the way of a drift. The way a boat with a loose tether drifts from the dock, not because it has chosen to go, but because no one has held it firm enough. I told myself small lies, that I deserved to be admired, that Hosea's quietness was a kind of neglect, that I had given my best years to a man who could not give me what I needed. I told myself those lies until they felt like truth. I told them until I was ready to act on them. God, forgive me, I did not know how much I was about to lose. I did not know that what I was about to reach for was not liberation. It was a different kind of captivity, one with no profit waiting at the end of it, or so I believed. I was wrong about that, too. I left in the early morning before the house had fully woken. I remember standing in the doorway for a moment, looking back at the sleeping forms of my children, at the shape of my husband in the gray light, that still, quiet shape I had come to both love and resent. I remember the feeling in my chest. It was not triumph. It was not even relief. It was terror, but the kind of terror that does not stop you. The kind that moves through your body like electricity and pushes you forward even when every wise part of you is screaming to stop. I will not tell you all of what followed. Not because I want to hide from it. I have spent too many years hiding from it. And the hiding never helped, but because the details are not the point. The point is not the particular faces or the particular places. The point is the pattern. I went looking for love in places that could not offer it. I went looking for the feeling of being chosen, that electric, overwhelming feeling I had craved since I was a girl. And I found versions of it, yes, men who told me I was beautiful, men who made the world feel more vivid for a little while, more urgent, more alive. And every single one of them eventually revealed themselves as hollow, not because they were the worst kind of men. Some of them were simply broken in the same way I was broken. But a broken thing cannot be the foundation another broken thing builds its life upon. You cannot steady yourself on shifting sand. And the life I was trying to build, the free, chosen, fully alive life I had imagined, it turned to sand beneath my feet. It happened slowly, and then all at once. The admiration faded, the resources dried up, the people I had trusted to catch me stepped back at the moment I needed them most, as people do when association with you becomes a liability. And I found myself somewhere I had never imagined being, reduced, exposed, standing in a marketplace with nothing left to offer except my body. I will not soften that. I want you to hear it plainly, because I think it is important that you know how far a human being can fall when they are following the wrong hunger. Not because I want to shame myself or to warn you away from love or from longing, but because I want you to understand the magnitude of what came next. I want you to understand what it means to be found in a place like that. There were days in that season when I thought about Hosea, about his hands, about his voice, about the morning he had asked me what I feared, and I had almost told him the real answer. I thought about my children, their faces, the weight of them in my arms when they were small, the smell of their hair. I thought about my mother's grief-touched expression at my wedding. She had known. I wondered what she thought of me now. I wondered what God thought of me now. I assumed he had looked away. That is what we tell ourselves in the far country. That the God we knew before cannot see us here. That we have gone too far, fallen too low, done too much. That the distance is now permanent. We tell ourselves that because it is more comfortable than the alternative. The alternative is that he has seen everything, every choice, every face, every morning in that marketplace, and that he loves us still, that he has not looked away. That is harder to carry than shame, because shame lets you stay distant. The mercy of God does not allow distance. It moves toward you. It insists, and it was about to insist on me in the most unexpected way, through a man I had not deserved, through a love I had not earned, through a covenant I had shattered with both hands. Grace was coming, and I was too broken to run from it anymore. I heard his voice before I saw his face. That voice, quiet, steady. I had not heard it in years, and yet I would have known it anywhere. The way, a piece of music that was played in the house of your childhood. The notes live somewhere in your body, deeper than memory. I did not turn around at first. I could not. I stood very still, the way an animal stands still when it senses something overwhelming approaching, not sure whether to flee or surrender. And then I heard him speak my name, Gomer. Just that, just my name. There was no accusation in it, no edge of anger. No performance of long-suffering patience designed to make me feel my own guilt more acutely. Just my name in his voice, as if I were still the woman who had stood in a doorway on a flower-scented morning and promised to be his. I turned around. He looked older. Of course he did. We both did. There are years that age you gently, and there are years that press you hard, leave their marks in the lines around your eyes and the set of your shoulders. He'd been pressed hard, but his eyes were those same steady, seeing eyes. He looked at me, all of me, the whole reduced, exposed marketplace version of me, and he did not look away. I think I said something, I don't know what, some small, stupid thing, some attempt to fill the terrible silence with words that would keep me from having to feel the full weight of what was happening. He did not answer whatever I said. He simply paid what was owed for me. 15 pieces of silver. Some barley. The price of a slave. He bought me back. I want you to sit with that for a moment. I want you to feel the strangeness of it, the scandal of it, the absolute unreasonableness of it. This man, this faithful, long-suffering, God-following man, came to the place where I had sunk to my lowest point, and he paid the price to bring me home. He did not deliver a sermon. He did not list my failures. He did not demand an accounting of every wrong choice before he extended his hand. He just came. He just paid. He just said, "Pay home." On the walk back, I said nothing for a long time. What do you say? What words exist for a moment like that? He walked beside me, not in front of me, not behind me, but beside me, and he let the silence be what it needed to be. Eventually, he spoke. He told me that God had spoken to him about this, that this moment, this impossible, scandalous moment, was not only about us, that our story was a message, that God himself was the husband who came looking, that Israel was the wife who had gone wandering, that the pursuit was not finished. I listened. I had never really listened before. Not to his full voice, not to the full weight of what he carried, but something had been broken open in me in that marketplace. Something that had been armored for years. And the words went in. I thought of my mother, of her prayers for me, the prayers I had pretended not to hear but had absorbed anyway, the way soil absorbs rain even when no one is watching. I thought of the God she described to me as a child, not a God of distance and judgment, but the God of the covenant, the God who had come down from the mountain, who had parted the waters, who had never stopped calling. I thought, if that God is anything like this man beside me, if that God is willing to come to the marketplace, then maybe I am not too far gone. Maybe no one is. That thought was the beginning of something new in me, not a finished healing. I do not want to give you the impression that one walk home with a good man undoes years of wandering. It does not. There is work to do. There are habits of heart to unlearn, patterns of reaching for the wrong things that do not dissolve in a single afternoon, but that walk home was the beginning. And a beginning is everything. A beginning is the mercy that makes all the rest possible. There is a kind of knowing that only comes from having been lost. I do not say that to romanticize my wandering. I would not wish the years I spent in the far country on anyone. They were not an adventure. They were not a necessary part of some redemption story that had to unfold that way. They were simply the consequence of choices made by a woman who did not yet understand the value of what she had. But the knowing that came afterward, the deep bone level knowing, I have earned that, and I want to share it with you. The first thing I know now is this: love that pursues is not weakness. In my culture, in my time, a man who went looking for the wife who had shamed him was considered a fool. People said it behind Hosea's back. I knew they did. Even when I was too far away to hear them, I knew the shape of that particular cruelty. But Hosea was not a fool. He was a man who understood something that the rest of us misunderstand about strength. True strength is not the ability to walk away. True strength is the ability to go back. And God, the God Hosea served, is the original pursuer. The one who has been going back since the beginning, since the garden, since the wandering. Since every generation that has turned its face away and heard, somewhere in the silence, a voice still calling its name. The second thing I know is this: shame is not the last word. I lived inside shame for years. I wore it like a second skin, and sometimes it felt so familiar I forgot it was not me. Forgot that the shame was not my identity, but a story I had started to believe about myself. But grace contradicts shame. Grace looks at the thing you are most certain disqualifies you and says, no, that is not the final chapter. You are not the sum of your failures. You are a person made in the image of a God who does not abandon his own, and no distance you have traveled changes that. This is not sentiment. This is the message of Hosea. This is the message threaded through the whole story of God's people, a people who kept wandering, kept breaking the covenant, kept reaching for gods made of wood and gold and emptiness. And God kept coming. He kept paying the price. He keeps paying it still. The third thing I know is this: healing is not instant, but it is real. The years after Hosea brought me home were not easy ones. There were days when the old hunger stirred and I had to make a choice, not once, but daily, sometimes hourly. There were days when I looked at my husband's faithful, patient face and felt both gratitude and a grief I could not name. Grief for the years, for the children's confused eyes, for the trust that had to be rebuilt stone by stone. Hosea never hurried me. He never made me feel the weight of the timeline. He simply remained, day after day, present, steady. And over time, slowly, and then less slowly, I began to believe I was home. Not just in the physical sense, not just in the sense of walls and a roof and a bed. Home in the deeper sense. Home in myself, settled in something that did not shift. That settling, I want to tell you, is the most valuable thing I have ever known. More than the electric feeling I chased in the far country. more than the brief, bright warmth of being desired by people who did not know me. This settledness is built on truth, on a love that has seen the worst and stayed, on a God who knows every street I walked and every wrong door I opened and still calls me by name, still calls me his. If you are in the far country right now, if you are standing somewhere you never imagined you would stand, holding choices you are not proud of, I want to speak directly to you. You are not past finding. You are not beyond the reach of the one who comes to the marketplace. You are not the sum of your worst moments, the hunger you are trying to fill. I know that hunger. I've spent years trying to satisfy it in places that could not hold it, but there is a love that can hold it. There is a love that is not diminished by your wandering, not exhausted by your reaching, not turned away by the sight of you at your lowest. It is the love that paid the price, not 15 pieces of silver and some barley, something far more costly than that. A cross, a body broken, a voice crying out in the dark, and then 3 days later, rising and still calling your name. My name is Gomer. I was lost. I was bought back. I was brought home. And the God who did that for me is the same God who is doing it for you. He has not looked away. He is already on the road. Turn around. Come home. Tilda. A prayer for today. Lord, you are the God who pursues. You are the God who pays the price, who comes to the far country, who calls the name of the wandering one. Today I bring you the hunger that I have tried to fill in the wrong places. I bring you the shame I have been carrying. I bring you the distance I have put between us. Receive me as you received Gomer, not because I have earned it, but because you are faithful even when I am not. Settle me in your love. Root me in your truth. Let me know, really know, that I am home. In the name of the one who came to find me. Amen. Tilda, a reflection for your week, this week. Consider where you may have been looking for love and worth in places that cannot truly hold them. Not with judgment, but with honesty. Ask yourself, what is the hunger beneath the reaching? And then sit with this truth. There is a love that already knows that hunger, and it is not frightened by it. The God of Hosea is the God of today. He is not standing at a distance, arms crossed, waiting for you to deserve his attention. He is already moving toward you. You are already being found. If you believe in the power of this story to touch the heart and transform thoughts, sign up now. Together, we can bring these teachings to those who haven't had the chance.